This new video 12 News obtained Monday shows the Jeep parked on the side of the street Friday night. It starts to move as Jamal is spotted riding his bike on the sidewalk, returning from a nearby park. The boy's aunt says her brother was driving the sedan, following alongside his young son. The camera catching the white Jeep turning around, then later blocking the end of their driveway. Two people got out of the Jeep simultaneously. One, who appears to be holding a gun, tried following the man into the house. The other chased the little boy down the driveway. Seconds later, the suspect comes back into frame, with Jamal in his arms, putting him into the Jeep. Unsettled as family is seen running out of the home. The boy's father spotted slamming his arms on the trunk of his car.
Now, when I first seen that video on the Shade Room, I had people come and get my neck because I said that the mom sure knows how to pick a winner. She picked a winner, being sarcastic because I'm a sarcastic person. People came at my neck saying things like, how was she supposed to know that he was like that in the beginning? Hello, the same reason we know how people are when we're vetting them to date, to be our partner, to be our mate, to be our husband, to be the father of our children. That's how you will know who you need to be reproducing with. But a lot of women are just so blinded. They see like how much money a guy is making, especially like if he's a drug dealer, or here's a big one, they go off of what he looks like instead of what he does, what he can provide, the type of man that he really is. A lot of women go off of what a man looks like, which is completely silly because if you're going to be reproducing with somebody, there's a lot that needs to come into play when you're vetting a guy to have kids with. Now, I read more onto that story because more information is coming out. That guy, that lovely father that ran into the house when, guns are drawn and his child is outside, he ran back into the house because he said he thought they were coming to rob him. So he ran back in the house. They chased the little boy. The little boy, you can hear him calling for his protector, calling daddy. Daddy's in the house doing God knows what. Then he runs outside, bangs his hand on the trunk like he's like super dramatic, like he's really worried about what happened here. And he's just not. He's an irresponsible dad. He sucks as a parent. The mom sucks as an adult too. And there's more information I feel like is going to come out about this story because it was just way too much that was going on. And then the uncle, he ends up getting arrested because he had shot into a car. Don't know what that's all about. But women sure be knowing how to pick them and then turn around and say, I have a deadbeat baby daddy. You knew the signs were there. And I'll give you an example of that. I know somebody, before her and her child's father had kids, they're not together anymore, but before they had their kid, they were doing coke together. They were partying together. And then when they got together, like they really didn't stop that. It was a whole lot of drama that was still going on with them. It was just, they're smoking weed around their kid, and she's a baby at this point in time. And it's just like nobody is there to really be an adult. So when they finally broke up, it was a complete and total mess. Both of them were playing the blame game as to why their child has turned out the way that she has turned out. And it's really both of them to blame. Neither one of them provided any type of stability for that child. Even today, I would say he is now more stable than she is because he ended up getting married. She's still jumping from guy to guy and inviting different men into her child's life, and then wonder why her kid is having the issues that her kid is having. It's the parenting. Like, you didn't pick a great guy to have a kid with. And I guess the dad, he's like somewhat trying because he did get married, but he still puts his daughter second to what he has going on with his stepchildren and his new wife. So that was a situation where those two, they were just having fun and they ended up getting pregnant and they tried to make it work. She got with him because of the way he looks. She likes that he had all the tattoos on his body and that they were partying together because they met when they were young. I met my kid's father when I was young, but I had a crush on him when I was 11 years old because I've known him since middle school. I had a crush on him since I was 11. And then when we hit our senior year in high school, that's when I actually got in contact with him again. And we started going on dates every Friday, every weekend, really. Him and I would go on dates. So we got to really know each other. before I'm like, yeah, this is somebody that I want to have kids with. This will be a great dad for my children. Now, I should have waited. I will say that I should have waited to get to know him a little bit more, but he's an awesome father. Hands down, an amazing parent, other parent to our kids, because we do have 2 kids together. Those are my only 2 kids. He's an amazing father. Like, he takes my son out fishing. Well, our son. He teaches my kids a lot of stuff that my kids learned. They learned it from him. I'm a picky eater. He got my kids eating just like vegetables raw. Like, I didn't grow up really doing that, but that was something that he always did. So he got my kids into trying different foods. So they have more of an appetite like how his appetite is. And with my daughter, when she was little, when she was potty training, he's the one that actually got her to potty train. Like, him and I were doing it together, but the job that I was working, I was gone the bulk of the evening because I was working a 3 to 11 shift. So that gave him the time to potty train our daughter. Like, amazing father. But this is me vetting him as a parent. A lot of women just go off of what they see, what they like, oh, he looks good, I want to give him a baby, which is completely silly because y'all are just making kids just for the sake of making kids. Like, there's really no intention put into making those kids. And a lot of times these women or these parents go on, they want their kid to be the fly kid. You know, it's just like a clout. They use their kid as like a clout. They're really not putting any type of intention into these kids. And these kids like really need their parents. Just sending them off into the world. And then you'll have parents talking bad about the other parents to the kid, telling the kid that the dad ain't shit. But you picked him. You knew he was like that in the beginning. You decided to ignore the signs because his pockets was deep or you liked the way that he looked. Like, and that's just keeping it 100% real. I went out on dates with my kid's father. Like, him and I spent a lot of time together. We spent a lot of time on the phone. We spent a lot of time going out, exploring things together before we got to that point. But I came from a dysfunctional background, so I rushed building my own family to escape the family that I had come from because I just thought that was a better idea. But, you know, I'll get into that a different way. I'm at a different time. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that story, give my feedback on that story because that dad just completely isn't shit. Like, you left your kid outside in harm's way, left him screaming at the top of his lungs for his protector to come save him. And his protector did not come and save him because his protector found that it was more important to protect the things that he had in his house, whatever that was. I'm pretty sure he's involved in something that he's not supposed to be involved with. And then had the nerve to tell people that we don't know what we're talking about. And he thought that they were coming to rob him. Bro, who gives a fuck about them robbing you? We would rather you get robbed than for your kid to get snatched. And now that kid is going to remember that for the rest of his life and is going to have to, I'm pretty sure at some point, seek some type of help for that. Because that is very traumatic for a child to endure. I remember when I almost got snatched up as a kid. And I still remember that to this day. I was in a pharmacy, Rite Aid. I was in there with my grandma. And a man kept following me around that store. I had got separated from my grandma for whatever reason. A man kept following me around that store. And I just thought it was weird because every aisle that I was on, he would pop up at that aisle just staring at me. And as a kid, like I think I was like 5 years old, 5, 6 years old at the time. I'm thinking like, let me walk on this aisle to see if he'll come to this aisle also. So I walked to an aisle. I think he had like the Hallmark cards or whatever. He showed up there too. And my grandma, like I heard a voice in my head. I heard a voice. They said my name. It was like Shemaine, but it was like a feminine voice. And I just found that voice. And then my grandma, what, don't you ever run off like that again? Didn't you see that man following you? So that confirmed my suspicions that I was being followed around that store with that man. And my grandma, she had seen it also. But yeah, you guys let me know what you think about that story. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe if you like what I had to say today. I will talk to you guys later. Peace.